Good morning. Today is the 22nd of July and it's time for yet another not particularly interesting, very vague and probably quite boring vlog. So, as you can probably see, we're still in the hire car at the moment, which we've got 3 weeks ago. We're still waiting for the payout to come through from the insurance company after what happened on the 27th of June with the Sanyong. And it's fine, you know, my lady wife quite likes this car. I have my own opinions about it, but never mind. A little bit later on, we're going to be looking at a show that happened on Sunday for Tesla Motor Enthusiasts for Annual Show Day. But because the videos are quite short, it's not even 10 minutes long, I've decided to just talk about something else in this very vague vlog. And that is something that I was first made aware of a couple of years ago. So in 2021, I sourced a 2017 Kia Rio for a friend of mine. You actually will see the video on Tweed Jacket Reviews. That was made, I think April 2021 that video was made. So you can have a look at that if you like. They're obviously pretty good cars. It's a shame that they don't make them anymore. Because actually the rear was really good. You can buy a Stonic, which is a very similar car. For some reason they prefer the profit margins on the Stonic as opposed to the, you know, slightly lower height of the Rio. But there we go. The Fiesta and the Micro don't exist anymore either. So I sourced one of these from a car supermarket. I think it was in Berkshire somewhere, that supermarket. In 2021, it hadn't done many miles. I think it was about 11,000 miles or even less. I mean, it might actually say in the video, but it's been so long since I've filmed it. I can't even remember. It's over 4 years now. But about a year after I sourced a car for my friend, she actually had a problem with it. And it's very unusual. Like, it's not something I've ever heard of on these 1 litre Hyundai and Kia engines before, but the fuel pump went in the car. And obviously, in our MG3 that we had for a while, that was a 2014, and in 2018 the fuel pump went. So it's around the same kind of time. It's not unheard of. But obviously, one of the reasons why I recommended she go for the Rio was because they have a 7-year warranty. And because it's 17, it's kind of just about out of warranty now. However, there was a problem with the warranty claim. And it was the fact that although the car had been serviced every year, I think mainly at Kia dealerships, when the car supermarket serviced it themselves before point of sale, they hadn't actually bothered to put a receipt in the service history showing the part numbers for the service items. Now, whether the fact that you hadn't exactly used the OEM oil filter would have made any difference to the fuel pump, I would say probably not, but that's what Kia require you to do. It's quite clear in the service books of Kia, and I've seen this recently, that they have requirements for it. Now, please don't get the impression that you must go to a main dealer whilst your car is within warranty for servicing. You do not need to do that. There's a thing that came in a number of years ago called block exemption, which means that you don't have to go to the main dealer for your servicing. Now, one example of an exception to that is the Mercedes that my mother used to have, and we got that in 2017 on a finance agreement. And the finance agreement that she had was that she had to go to the main dealer for servicing because of the residual value of the car. It was on a PCP. Now, obviously, the first 3 years we did it, and it was eye-wateringly expensive having it serviced at a main agent at Mercedes. You can imagine it was really expensive, but we wanted to make sure we abided by terms of finance agreement, and so that's what we did. After that, after the finance agreement was up and also the warranty had expired, we went to a Mercedes independent specialist, and that was better. Still expensive, but better. But generally, you are able to take your car with its warranty, like a long one, like a Sanyong, or KGM, or a Hyundai, or a Kia, or something like that, or an MG. You are able to have the car serviced at a VAT registered garage if you abide by the manufacturer's requirements. So, for example, I think on the Sanyong we had to have it serviced every year, or I think 10,000 or 12,000 miles. I don't remember exactly. I don't have a car anymore, so it doesn't matter. But we, after 2021, I think, never went to a Sanyong management with the car ever again. We never did. what we did instead was we went to see Mr. Coleman's uncle, and he has a VAT registered garage where he does most of the MOTs for our cars. And I said to Mr. Coleman's uncle, like, please can you get us OEM SsangYong parts for this car? We please want to preserve the warranty. We must have this service done every year within 12 months of the last one. We must do it on time, but we must use genuine parts, as close to genuine parts as possible. And that's what we did. We actually went out of our way to get as close as we can possible. SsangYong or KGM, I don't know if this has changed since then, but it used to be the case that you couldn't get genuine parts if you rang up the dealer and said, hello, I'd like an oil filter. They wouldn't do that for you unless you were a SsangYong main agent, which is really annoying. So what we had to do was buy the closest quality possible to that, and we found out that I think it was Man or Marla actually made the oil filters for Tivoli, but you could get a branded one from SsangYong, but you could also get an unbranded one from Marla or whoever it was, and the only difference was the logo on it. The part was exactly the same. We used to write them down just to make sure we were okay. In the end, we never had to actually worry about it because the car's now been written off, and so we can't service it anywhere anymore. But we did have the only warranty claim ever on the car, which was the clutch low cylinder, which failed, I think, 16,000 miles on it, and we never had one with it again. We had obviously to hope that it was under warranty. Of course it was. By that stage, it had only ever been serviced at SsangYong main agent. It was less than a year since the car had been sold to us, and they'd serviced it there just before, so that wasn't a problem. But you are able to have your work done on an iron independent VAT registered garage, but you must make sure that you have the service schedule maintained. It must be done, and you must have a receipt with the parts numbers shown on it, and they must be OEM quality or similar. Now, because in this particular instance with my friend's Rio, the car hadn't been serviced by main agent, which is fine, but they hadn't actually got a receipt with the OEM part numbers on it. The warranty claim for the fuel pump was refused. And I would just be very careful about, if you're buying a car with a longer warranty like an MG or a Kia or a SsangYong or KGM, but you make sure that whoever's done the servicing has put those receipts in with the part numbers and made sure that actually the car was serviced on time. And a lot of people have a misconception about this. It's not it's only done 2,000 miles this year, therefore we don't need to service it. It's like, no, it's say 10,000 miles and 12 months, whichever comes soonest. So sure, you've only done 2,000 miles since the last service, but it's been 12 months, and therefore you should service it. And that could be something as well that they would decline the warranty claim on. Just something for anybody looking at sort of like that. Sometimes even the main dealers are a bit blasé about that sort of thing if they are not the actual original franchise. So if you're looking at a Peugeot at a Ford dealership, they might not really care about that sort of thing, but you must ask for that. Otherwise, you're essentially buying yourself a lot of trouble, because you expecting this car to have a warranty on it, and it's not actually valid if they haven't done the servicing properly. So just bear that in mind. Anyway, let's go over to Cadnam and the Tesla Motor Enthusiasts annual show, and let's see what was going on down there. Good afternoon. Today is the 20th of July, and here we are at the Coach and Horses at Cadnam near Southampton in Hampshire for the annual Tesla Motor Enthusiasts show day. Now, the weather earlier on today was quite bad. I don't know whether I should have bought a sun hat or a raincoat, so I kind of bought both. At the moment we've got a weather break, so that's good. We'll have a look around what the entries for the show are. There aren't as many as there normally would be, because weather early on was pretty bad, so I can imagine why not everyone's getting out their sort of pride and joy today. We'll start off with this very, very nice Morris Minor based van. Now, they weren't called the Minor back in the day, they were called sort of like Morris, I think 600 or 800 weight, but everybody calls them Minor vans now. This is a particularly late one. It's 1971 only, local plate to the area, BK was one of the old plates before 2001 for this area. They're actually worth quite a bit of money now, these commercial versions of the Miner. This is the absolute last of them. I couldn't remember a separate factory from the rest of the Miners for commercial stores at the end. Next we've got this Reliance similar to GTE 7273 plate, and we're not allowed to talk about the person who is the most famous owner of all of them, because that can actually just ban on the channel, viewers. Because that's what everybody says, but we will not say it. 3 litre Essex V6 engine in this. I think those are slot mag wheels, aren't they, or something like that. Then we've got, well, it wouldn't be a car show without an MGB, really. I mean, it's just, that's sort of what has to happen these. I can't remember the name of this colour. I think this is Primrose Yellow, this sort of particular colour. 68 MGB GT, unlimited, unlimited cylinder head. Probably very, very wise these days to have one of those on your MGB. We've got a much, much older MG. Now, there are 4 different categories at this particular show. There's the miscellaneous, family saloon, sports car and motorcycle. Motorcycle category is not very big. So this old MG, I don't actually know what year this is. I'm not that familiar with cars of this sort of age, but I think this is my favourite in the family saloon category. Beautiful, beautiful lines on this car. Handsome, handsome as anything. Next we've got a 1972 Triumph Stag with the optional alloys. This is a Mark 1. Like the one that I drove in 2023, it was also a Mark 1. It's a white one with an automatic gearbox. It's amazing what you can pick one of these up for. You don't have to spend too much money to pick one up, but I would advise you to, you know, go for, well, a nicer Stag rather than a less nice one, because they can just be a money pit for sort of £5,000 or less ones. Another Miner here. Someone's been very sensible actually in this one and put the Morris Marina wheels on this. It means you can have disc brakes on the front. You can't fit disc brakes to standard Miner wheels. A lot of people also sometimes change the gearboxes in these because the standard 4-speed manual does not have synchromesh on first gear. So if you change the discs, change the brakes so as to discs and then fit a different gearbox, you can actually make them a bit easier to drive. Certainly, having driven a couple of them myself, they are a bit tricky as standard form. Next we've got this 1969 Triumph Herald 1360 convertible. I was just speaking to the chap who owns this over lunch, and I have driven one of these. It was also with Mini-Lite style wheels like this, but that was a 1.5 conversion. This still has the 1300cc engine in it. You've got to watch the brakes in these. They are disc at the front, but they're not servo assisted, and also the gearbox hasn't got a synchro first, so a little bit tricky to drive for somebody as ham-fisted as me, but good fun nevertheless. This is actually a pretty nice one, to be honest.
Is that a metal front balance as well? Yeah, this is mine. That's got 5.
Next we've got this MGA here. I believe this is like a 58 or something like that. When I was very young, a friend of my mother's actually restored one of these. It was this colour, it was an MGA in this colour. There was a photograph of me sitting in the passenger seat of it, I think about 1991, 1992. Next we've got an Austin Healey 3000. If you watch the coverage from the BMC Leyland show, which was actually a week ago, you would have seen that there were about 1 million of these, all in the historic rally section, because they were used in competition at Abingdon. And there we go, this is a Mark III from 1964. Classic sort of, red and white colour combination. Next we've got a Ford Zephyr Zodiac Mark II convertible, and this, look at the condition of this, just beautiful, beautiful condition. Absolutely amazing. About 1960, something like that, at a Mark II. Would be quite an expensive car, and it was new. The convertibles were not cheap at all. And white wall tyres as well, excellent. Next we've got the motorcycle section. As you can see, it's not very big this year. We've only got 2. We've got this Rally Runabout from 1967. I think my mother had a Rally Wisp when she was younger. It's the first thing she had, because she, cars were very expensive, and I think you could drive one of these at 16 on a like a 50cc motorcycle license without passing a test or something like that. I can't remember now. And we've got this BSA. This is a 69 to 70 registration. It's a Starfire 250. It's amazing what's happened to the British bike industry. There's not much of it left now, I don't think. I mean, you talk about a Triumph motorcycle, but not much else, as far as I remember. So we've got a bay window right next to a splitty. We've got both here today, and they're both really nice. I haven't actually voted for either of these in the miscellaneous category, because I don't know, to be honest, if I could choose between them. I think it's a 72, this one. It's very nice. The first ever Tesla Motor Enthusiasts event I attended when I wasn't a member of the club was actually, this was the first one car I ever saw of it, which was about 2019, I think. There's a trailer on the back of this one too. This is a 64 splitty. Somebody can tell me how many windows this has got, because I can't remember how you count them properly. Obviously opening windscreen, daylight today, when weather's actually half decent. Yes, you open them up and get some ventilation in there. Classic, again, sort of colour combination for one of these. Next we've got something in the miscellaneous category. It's a 1903 Oldsmobile Curved Dash. This is actually a London to Brighton eligible car, and we don't even have a steering wheel, we've got a tiller, which I think it probably makes it a little bit scary on the motorway. It's probably not the best motorway car, I wouldn't have thought, something like that. But there we go, it shows the sort of range in the miscellaneous category. Then we've got a 1990, I think this is a Lomax, which is based on a 2CV these actually. We've got a, yeah, there we go, we've got a Moto Guzzi engine in this one though, so it's a bit faster than the 2CV. Obviously, I can't remember if the person who owns it was actually built themselves or something. You could buy these in kit form, of course. Next, we've got a very, very nice Riley 1.5. Now, this is a very, very nice car. If this hadn't been competing against an MG over there, I probably would have voted for this. They're lovely these. They're like a Morris Minor, but a lot better. They've got a much sort of richer interior, much more equipment, wooden dash. We even get a rev counter in there, which is fantastic. Wolseley's didn't have that actually, only these did, and this is really nice. Obviously I bought the Sunny today. We haven't got vast amounts of competition. I think I've got the newest car in contention today, because the 205 GTI over there is actually not, that's not actually in there, but it's fine, you know. I am enjoying myself anyway. So yeah, we've got this very nice 1.6 205 GTI. I think this is a 1991. It's quite late for a GTI in this country. I think they've had this quite a long time. It's not perfect or anything like that, but we've got a modified exhaust on the back of there. I quite like it, viewers. And next we've got a petrol Talbot Express. Yes, a petrol Talbot Express, viewers. We've got one or two examples of tin worm on here, but you know, these are extraordinary things. The last vehicle to ever wear the Talbot badge. I think they were discontinued in 1994, these Expresses. I quite like them. I don't know why, I'm not really sure, but I have a sort of affinity for them for whatever reason. So there we go, a little report from Tasmanian Motor Enthusiasts show day, which was not as well attended as I think people expected, but it was still good. And then a bit about warranties and whether your car warranty is actually still valid. So thank you ever so much indeed once again for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like this video, leave a comment below, and we shall see you again soon for some more very vague and not particularly interesting music.